you do not end up with a conviction on your record on the assault. And as part of the plea bargain, they're going to dismiss the criminal trespass case against you. I want you to understand that even if you're doing this deferred, there is an affirmative finding of family violence. What that means is that if you ever pick up another one of these cases, regardless of whether you complete this or not, you will be charged with a third-degree felony. You will be looking at a minimum of 2 years in prison, a maximum of 10 years in prison. All you got to do is grab someone's arm and gently squeeze to where it hurts. And that's enough to where you're looking at up to 10 years in prison. You can also never own a gun or ammunition as a result of this plea bargain. Do you understand? You are giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers, right to be arraigned, charged right to an open court. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. For you to successfully complete this thing, you will be required to do a batterers intervention prevention program. This is a program that you must go once a week for 18 weeks in person. And if you successfully complete, then you're basically done with this case. You must do what's called a TRAS. She had done a TRAS already when she was in there. That's an evaluation to see what other conditions you may need. You must fulfill any other conditions they assess. Substance abuse treatment, no drugs, no alcohol, no threatening, harassing, or abusive contact with Rafael Guzman. Who is that?
That's our father's, that's our baby's father, Your Honor.
My ex-boyfriend.
You get along with this person or no?
I know.
So perhaps we should just do no contact then. Or I don't know. I mean, who's got custody of the child?
Me.
Let's just do no threatening or harassing, because I mean, that's what they had done. If you violate this agreement by testing positive, picking up a new case, not showing up, not doing your anger management class, I'm telling you now, you will be doing a substantial amount of time in jail. And I'm going to tell you now, if you like that kid, and if you want that kid to be in your life, this is the wrong way to do it. What do you think Mr. Guzman is going to do? He's going to track that. He's going to try to take that kid away from you. And this is what he's going to use as evidence and the trespass that you are out of control. So if you like that kid, and if you want that kid, straighten up and fly right. Because if not, you're going to be sitting with me for an entire year. Do you understand? I will make you a deal. If you do well, you complete that BIP class successfully, I'll take you off when you get done with that class. Don't test positive for dope or alcohol. Be nice to everybody. It's not hard. Once you get done with that class, and if you're good, I'll take you off.
Thank you so much.
As an incentive to get it done quick. All right? How do you plead to the offense, ma'am? I will not find you guilty. I will withhold it for 13 months. Get it done, and then you don't end up with a conviction on your record. All right? Good luck, Mr. Lewis.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. D.
Yes, sir.
Jail, you ready?
Page 15, Judge.
Thank you. Wait. There's someone that's trying to get in that says court observer. What do you think?
Do it.
We got bombed last night, yesterday.
Got what?
We got bombed on the
Oh,
live stream yesterday, so
oh,
I'm
wow.
now very wary of letting anyone in.
Wow.
Mr. McCollum, you're charged with driving while intoxicated, second offense. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. How old are you?
26.
26, and you now have 2 DWIs. What happens on the next one?
I don't know.
You need to know what happens on the next one.
Bad news, yeah.
No, not bad news. What happens? I'm going to tell you now that you now have 2 DWIs going on your record. If you were ever pulled over and you have the slightest smell of alcohol on your breath, any officer that pulls you over is going to say, well, if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, meaning if it's got DWI 1 and it's got another DWI, it's probably DWI again and is able to withhold his tolerance. They're going to arrest you. No questions asked. They're not going to give a rat's behind whether you're drunk or not. The smell alone will be enough to take them down. And now you will be looking at up to 10 years in prison. Up to 10 years in prison. That's what you're going to be facing. I hope you really appreciate the gravity, because do you know what they would do to you in prison, Mr. McCollum? A little white boy stick piece, you know what they would do to you in prison? Holy moly, I've read stuff that was so bad it had me in freaking tears. How they just pass people along like it's a freaking rag doll. And you know what? The jailers don't give a rat's behind what happens in there. Some places are so bad they don't even go there. And I promise you, because I'm a judge, I get to read extra stuff that you're never going to get your eyes on. And it literally had me in tears, how they treat people. So you're one step away. And I hope that you appreciate that. All you have to do is pick up a phone, hit one button. You'll have a car for $20, take you anywhere you want to go in this freaking city. Don't matter where you want to go. It's always $20. How much money have you spent on all this?
100.
Yeah, and now it's going to cost you more, because you will be required to pay for the DPS fines and fees and surcharges. And if you don't, I'm going to put your butt in jail. And every $100 you owe, you will sit in custody. You're now going to be required to pay somewhere to the tune of around $6,500 to $7,000. So you can imagine how much time you will sit in jail if you don't pay it. Do you understand? Because I am trying to impress on you how dangerous this type of offense is and how very important you must take this in the future so you don't end up in prison. What are we doing, Jan?
They reduced it to a Class B misdemeanor, DWI first, interlock, 18 months probation, and TRAS, all the conditions that go with the TRAS.
180 days in jail, to be probated for 18 months. As part of the probation, you will do a repeat offender DWI education class, 2 victim impact panels, a TRAS, which is an evaluation to see what other conditions you may need. You must fulfill those conditions. If they tell you that you need to do inpatient treatment, well, that's where you're going to go. If they tell you that you have to do intensive outpatient or SOP, then you must do those as well. If you don't, then guess what happens? I will issue a warrant for your arrest, and then you will be looking at 180 days in jail. And I myself, if I find that you're consuming alcohol while you're on this probation, I will put you into treatment myself. And I'm going to tell you, it lasts for 180 days if you respond to treatment well. If not, you can be in there for a year and a half. Do you understand? I just put someone in yesterday, and they're going to be in there for a solid 6 to 9 months, maybe a year and a half. You understand? No drugs, alcohol, random urinalysis, guardian interlock, no breath test refusal, meaning that if you take a breath, if you're driving in a car and an officer asks you to submit to a breath test, you must submit to a breath test. If you don't, you're in violation of this agreement. Do you understand? You are giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers, right to be arraigned, charged read in open court. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. So once you accept this agreement, there's no turning back. You now at 26 have 2 DWIs on your record. Do you understand? How do you plead to this offense? I will find you guilty. I am going to suspend your license for 1 year. JL, what happened on the?
We won.
Okay. You guys can apply for an occupational license. I want to know that he's doing well. And I don't think that we've had any violations so far, correct?
No, sir. And Judge, just to be clear, so When we get the occupational license, and Dustin King will be doing that part, and he
Yeah.
has to go get the interlock on his vehicle. He's gonna have someone else to drive the
Correct.
vehicle to the facility to get the interlock, because you cannot drive without an interlock.
As of
period.
this moment, you may not drive. Your license is suspended. If I catch you in a car driving, and we're gonna have you sign an affidavit promising us you're not gonna drive before you leave here. If you drive, you will be doing a substantial amount of time in jail. I don't care what your excuse is. I don't care if there's a burning building and you have to save 15 kids. Mother Teresa needs a ride to church. I don't care. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah, JL, if he does well, I think, and he's been doing well so far, that's good news. So we want to know that you appreciate the gravity of this offense going forward. The idea is that you have such a miserable experience here that you remember us 15 years down the road, 20 years down the road, you have some kind of catastrophic event in your life that causes you to go out, you get blitzed. You know what? I better not get in this car and go home. That was such a miserable experience. Huh? Yeah, he's gonna have to pay. What are court costs now? Was it a breath test or was it a blood test?
He volunteered breath, it's a 0.145.
Okay, so 6,000 and then plus court costs.
Even though it was reduced.
Yes, yeah. I will give you time to pay it. Okay, I will give you, 2 years, so it's not gonna break your bank, right? Because I understand, but I want you to understand that you're not gonna get out of this scot-free. And I want you to appreciate this. You understand?
Yes,
So
sir.
surcharges apply even though it's not time served.
Correct. Yeah. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your
Right.
Honor.
Dale. And I will grant you the occupational because he's been doing well. Okay, just mind Dustin that, because I'm gonna forget
I will.
that you guys had it, and that we had this agreement, and then I'll grant it to you guys.
Yes,
Okay,
Your Honor.
yeah,
Thank you.
thanks, JL. Okay,
Iris, come on up.
sorry, Eric, I'll hit you up next.
Page 11.